Welcome to challenge number 10. So let's go ahead and move forward. And this time we're still multiplying two numbers together. This time those two numbers are 7 and 8. So go ahead and store those two numbers in their own unique variable. Use a unique variable name for them. Of course, consistently with this program, I will use num1 and num2. And in this sense, because we're multiplying two numbers together, I'm going to use the product variable name, PROD, for my third assignment, for my third variable name, okay? And so I'm going to run the math operation of prod equals num1 times num2 using the asterisk. So let's go ahead and take a look at that from the pseudocode and flowchart perspective. So again, with the pseudocode, I'm going to go ahead and be consistent with, let's display what I want to display, let the user know what's going to happen. Now, in this sense, we know that if you've been following the tutorials along one by one, that I'm remaining consistent with how this looks in terms of the player sheets and what I'm expecting and what you should expect your young learners to be able to do just in terms of learning the sequence. And then once you become comfortable and they become comfortable with that sequence, you could always add to the challenge element by saying, can you do this? Can you put these storage elements before the display statement? I think that would be a good next step forward in their learning, because what we are learning on the back end is that yes, you can do that. You could actually declare your variables first, then create that print statement, then run the math operation. So as long as you have a sequence, a logical sequence of events, your code is going to work. However, because we want to make sure that your learners are learning very specific elements in terms of the flow chart and the pseudocode, we want to keep that consistent throughout. So take a look at what we have here. We have the same consistency with displaying multiplied two numbers, storing those three variable elements, num1, num2, and prod. And then prod is the action element of equals num1 times num2. And then of course that's consistent with our code. So we have that. So let's take a look at what this looks like up here. So again, I have num1 is 7, num2 is 8, and I have my print statement. Then I'm going to go ahead and print out what those two things are. Now I want to add the additional challenge here. So let's take a look at this. I want to move this out of the way. Well, I don't want to remove it. I just want to move it, which means I have my variable set and I've reset my variable prod to this equation. Now, I haven't changed anything in the code except for where it exists. So I'm performing my storage elements and my action before my print statements, and that's okay. So let's take a look at how this looks in output. And again, my output is consistent. So I have this print statement or this display statement. I display both numbers, num1 and num2, and then I display the result. So that's exactly what it should look like. Now we're learning some really good stuff in terms of the code. As long as you understand that there's a specific sequence of events that need to occur, your code is going to work. All right, I'll see you next time.